Eagles have pulled off at least one trade involving a first-round pick in 6 of the last 7 drafts. Could they be getting ready to do it again?
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, my do it, King Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So, dating back to 2016, in 6 of the last 7 drafts, the Eagles have made at least one trade involving a first-round pick. Could they possibly be doing it again? A lot of people think they're going to be trading back in this draft, and one of the teams that is coming up, the Minnesota Vikings, may want to make a trade with the Eagles. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to say to you, thank you so much for all the support you give to me. I am truly, truly humbled. Now, I'm going to jump right into this because there has been a debate really all off season leading up to the draft about what the Eagles should do with their 2 first-round picks. Many people think that the Eagles should stay at 10 and basically take the pick. Fewer people believe the Eagles should look to move up. And then I would say a big majority of people believe that the Eagles need to trade back, get more picks, more players, more opportunities of getting quality players. Me, I have one position, and I'll get into that in a second. But there are a lot of interesting situations really brewing from a trade-back situation. And I'll be honest with you, I have been against trading back for the most part. And I still kind of am, but I'm a little more open to it just because of how it looks like the first round, especially the first top 10 picks, may play out, with Tennessee possibly trading up to number 3 so that they can get a quarterback. And you're looking at a team who is going to be desperate to get up to 10 to get a quarterback. The Eagles may be able to get a lot more than I thought that they could in the past. And that would be the determining factor for me. It would have to involve a lot of picks, okay? I can't just get picks for this year. I have to get at least a first-round pick next year. If I don't get a first-round pick next year, then it's off. Forget it. That the conversation ends right there, okay? So, the Eagles picking at 10 really is the perfect spot. But there's an argument to go with it, because the Eagles really, they're on the verge of going back to the Super Bowl. This is a team that is still one of the best teams in the NFC. And what I feel that they need is an impact player. They need a guy to come in and start and play right away. However, you can get players at the end of the draft, or at 20, 19, 18. I mean, it's possible. It's just a lot harder. So it really depends how the top 10 goes and what the deal would be. But there are some interesting scenarios going on about possible and potential trades. I'm going to run one by you because I thought this one was an interesting one, kind of came out of nowhere, and it involved the Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings, okay? So, NFL Network's Chad Reuter, okay, he threw out a trade scenario that he thinks is something that would be possible, that could possibly happen with the Eagles and Minnesota Vikings, okay? And he was saying that Minnesota's going to need to get up there. They might want to get and secure their quarterback of the future. And at 10, there may be only one quarterback left to really get. So Minnesota could be looking to move up into that top 10 area and pick up a player. So here's a trade scenario. I'll let you guys tell me what you think, okay? So Reuter, whatever. He has the Eagles receiving, okay? This is the draft. This is the trade. He has the Eagles receiving the 23rd overall pick in 2023, plus number 87, which would be a 3rd round pick, and a 2024 first rounder in exchange for number 10. He broke it down in detail, adding that 4 quarterbacks have never been selected among the first 9 picks in any draft. I think you're getting 4 quarterbacks going anyways, regardless of Minnesota trading up or not, okay? They're coming up. They're coming up for the 5th quarterback, all right? Or one of the quarterbacks that they thought was going to go has dropped. But that would be the scenario, and the Eagles would give the number 10 overall pick. Now, is this trade good? Is this worth it? Really, compensation-wise, I couldn't be upset about it. Right, you're getting the 23rd pick still, so you have a first-round pick. You get a third round pick, which we know the Eagles really need mid-round picks in this draft, and you're getting a first-round pick next year. I'm not opposed to it. Now, when you think about the Minnesota Vikings, what will that first-round pick be next year? That first-round pick next year is probably going to be a back-end first-round pick. It's probably going to be somewhere between 17 and 25, somewhere in that range. Minnesota will probably be a playoff team. If you look at the division, it's really, I think the Bears are much improved. I think the Bears could steal that division. But I think Green Bay takes a step back. And I think Detroit, it's an interesting team too because they may be good. So Minnesota has a chance to win a division, be right on the cuffs of it. They'll fight with Chicago and Detroit. However, this is going to be a late pick probably next year in 2024, at least in the back half of the first round. That's what you're looking at. And then, of course, you'll have the Eagles pick. That'll be a late first-round pick. So you'll essentially get 2 late first-round picks. What I'm saying to you guys is, in this scenario, in this trade scenario with Minnesota, I don't look at Minnesota as a team that could potentially come out and have a bad year and give us a real high pick. Like I predicted the New Orleans Saints would. I said the New Orleans Saints would give us a top 10 pick when they made that trade, and they did. I do. You always texting me when I'm filming. Come on, yo. But my thoughts really on this is I don't mind the compensation. I don't. But I just, here's my thought process with the Eagles. Okay, the Eagles have a top 10 pick, which means that they're going to get a top 6 non-quarterback talent in this draft. They have a chance to get a player who could come in right away and contribute and play. All right. And then with that 30th pick, it leaves them so much that they could do. Now, if you have the 23rd and the 30th pick, you could always trade back up. And my big question really would be, from my own personal standpoint, is at 23, would Kalijah Kancey or Bijan Robinson be there? If one of two of those guys are there, I might do that trade. Because I think Kalijah Kancey is an absolute stud. Absolute stud, okay? I also think Bijan Robinson is who the Eagles should be drafting personally. But if one of those two guys are in there, I wouldn't mind doing this trade. Personally, if I'm going to move back, I probably would rather move back to 15. My personal scenario, and I told you guys all along, I would rather pick 10 and then trade up from 30. Now, you're not going to acquire more picks, okay? I'll tell you the one thing about trading back that I'm not buying into. I'm not buying into that the Eagles need more picks, more players. One, because the Eagles have a ton of picks coming next year. And there are other ways to trade and get mid-round picks in this draft, during the draft. So I'm not worried about that for the Eagles, okay? But what I am worried about, what I want from the Eagles, when you look at losing Hargrave, and you look at losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and when you look at the guys that you lost, okay, these are guys that are really good, and they were impactful for us. But this is still a team that has Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, all double-digit sack guys, okay? Jordan Davis going in his second year. I believe in Jordan Davis. Let me go on the limb and say, I believe Jordan Davis is going to be a player in this league. And I believe that people are going to owe him a big apology when it's all said and done. But I look at this Eagles team and I say, this team can go back to the Super Bowl this year. They can go back to the Super Bowl. So do I really want to go back and get multiple players that I'm going to look to work into my system over the next few years? Or do I want to go out in the first round and make sure I get some impactful players that will actually come in and play right away? And if they come in and play right away and they're as good as I think they could be, then I have to take them. That's why I remain intrigued by Jalen Carter, because Jalen Carter, talent-wise, if his head's in it and he's playing and ready to go, to the best of his ability, he is going to be an impact, meaningful player for the Eagles right away. Same thing with Bijan Robinson. Robinson, you come in, he makes your offense better this way, right away. Not to mention what he does for you with Jalen Hurts' contract, which we're gonna get into in the next video I do. But to me, there are a lot of options for the Eagles in terms of players that can come in and be impactful. They just have to find the right guy. So I am not opposed to trading back. I am not opposed to this trade scenario. But I got to get players that I think will come in and play right away. The Eagles have... They just need 1-2 guys to come back in. And this team's ready to go back again, okay? They're not going to look exactly the same. You're not going to have the same team with the same exact strengths as you did a year ago. It's going to be a little different. You've got to tweak the team a little bit. You got to tweak the roster a little bit. But I think that Jalen Carter coming in, if let's say they were to draft him, rotating with Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis, I think is a great thing. Bijan Robinson coming in and actually going out there and actually being your running back for 3 downs would make your offense better. I think you would score more points a game. You win more games. So the Eagles, they have a very fine line because a lot of teams are sitting there thinking, we just need to go out and we just need to build for the next few years. The Eagles, they need to build not just for the next few years. They need to get a team that returns to the Super Bowl. This is a team that can return to the Super Bowl. And Jalen Hurts' contract, at the end of the day, is what's going to make the biggest difference for the Eagles over the next few years, which we'll get to in the next video. It's going to be a busy day for me, so look for it. Also, if you guys haven't and you want your Draft 5 hats, we're pre-ordering them now. A lot of people are buying them. We may have to move the cutoff date for the pre-orders lower or earlier so we can get these all out to everybody before the draft. But if you're like us, you want to root for Bijan Robinson coming to Philly, have a little fun with it, and hang out with us during the draft. Get your Draft 5 hats, pre-order them right now. With that said, I'm going to get going. I will see you guys soon. I got to go to the dentist. Take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I think most of us feel, right, like that our man Howie Roseman's going to do something right. He's got something brewing. He's going to do something. It's just a matter of what is it going to be. Trade back, trade up, I don't know, make a trade for a veteran player. It is going to be very, very interesting. And we're going to talk a lot about it leading up to the draft, and I'm sure during the draft and after. I will be back later on. I've got a video on Jalen Hurts coming out soon, and then I got another video later today, which is yet to tell you what it is, but you'll see. Denzel Washington out.